He was an avoidant and I was an expression queen. I do believe that we are both secured until a specific or a certain point. We dawdled between, we oscillated between, I'd say, secure and I was secure and anxious. He oscillated between secure and avoidant. Most times, he would be very secure, and most other times, he would also be avoidant. Me, secure most of the time as well. But if the relationship becomes inconsistent in terms of communication, feeling unsafe, I would be anxious. And that's exactly what happened. We started off both secured, and then he started becoming avoidant here and there, and then that kind of started making me anxious around him, and I wasn't sure how to be comfortable around him because I didn't know what was right and what wasn't, what triggered him and what didn't. We triggered each other a lot, we were projecting on each other a lot, and we related in different ways, and that was one of the pressure, one of the things that weighed down on our communication. The breaking point that we had, I'd say the very first part where we had an issue is after 3 weeks of dating. I remember this very well, very vividly. It was like it was yesterday. Everything was going so well. We were smitten by each other. We couldn't stay away from each other. We were always talking on the phone. We were always sharing our lives, taking pictures, videos of what we're doing, communicating regularly. One faithful day, he just completely went off the grid, dropped from the face of the earth. I couldn't find him. He wasn't picking up his phone. It was ringing. It wasn't off. It was ringing, but he wasn't picking it up. Lord, I was worried sick about him. For a good 2 days, I called, I'm sure 20 times if I'm not mistaken. I called so many times. I was like, God, I hope nothing happened to him. And by Monday, because we're supposed to do something together by the Monday. But besides that, I was just worried about him because he disappeared on the Saturday. Monday, I was like, okay, fine. The best thing to do is maybe to call his office and find out where he is. Okay, I got so busy I couldn't because I was moving, and I couldn't call his office. In the evening, once I've moved into the new place that I was in, I was just still trying to figure myself out. He called. What a relief it was when I received that call. I was so relieved. I'm like, thank God. God, you can't just give me something and just take it away just like that, because those were my thoughts at the moment, at that time. And he called and he apologized. He said he had a hectic weekend. There was a lot going on, and he left his phone at a friend's house like it was a story. And immediately he said, when somebody tells you something and he gives you a lot of excuses, you already know this is a story. This is like, it's not true, it's a lie. Because that's just, you have to have one story right. If it's true, you just say, my battery died and I was going to a meeting. It ends there. Now you battery died, went into a meeting, your car broke down, and somebody did crashed into you, and then you had to go to where, and then like there's just so many factors that actually made you. It could be true, but it just felt like it wasn't real, wasn't authentic. He was just making it up. So I didn't question what he said, but when he apologized, I asked him, I'm like, so what are you actually apologizing for? Because you're giving me one apology, but there's a lot of things that actually happened here. I was like, are you apologizing for just completely disappearing without communication? Or is it about not picking up your phone? Or actually just not making any form of communication to say, I'm okay, hi, I'm okay? And he said, He paused for a little bit and said, I didn't think of it that way. I don't know. I'm not sure. Yo, and you could see it was heavy for him. For me, I wanted answers. I wanted to know, like, if you are going to apologize, like, I'm so sorry for not communicating. I'm so sorry for, but he just said, I'm sorry. It was a hectic weekend. I lost my phone. But there's no part where there was accountability in a sense to say that, yo, I'm sorry I didn't communicate. I know you must be worried about, sick about me. Like, it kind of, and there was a lack of understanding, there was a lack of vulnerability, there was a lack of accountability in a sense, and that just didn't land with me. But you could see that that was like something that was heavy on his side. Well, I didn't see anything wrong because that's how I believed a relationship should be. That I'm not saying you should call me all the time, but a message a day or every couple of days to say, hi, I'm okay, I'm doing well, I'm okay, you know. Now I'm worried sick for 2 days, 3 days actually, and you are nowhere to be found. I don't even have any of your friends' numbers or any type of communication with you. Social media is blank as well because, I mean, if your phone is not with you, obviously there's no posting that's going to happen. I'm worried that something could have happened to you. He's not used to being accountable in his life because he's been living like that forever, where he doesn't have to communicate where he's going. He doesn't have to tell anyone what he's busy with. He just moves without communication. And that's the life he's used to, specifically with his ex wife, because they were together for a while. So I'm used to me and my ex husband communicating, even if it's not all the time. But you know, I am at work, I'll be back at in the evening. I am this, I need this, I need that. Communication, communication, communication. And I still believe that in a relationship, in order for us to grow, in order for us to understand each other better, there has to be communication. So he can't communicate, he doesn't have accountability. He lived a life that didn't have a schedule. Anything went, he could disappear for 5 days and just be working. And if he's going through stuff, he withdraws. And then there's me left out in the cold, not knowing what to do. So, yes, maybe I was strict because he said I was strict. Maybe I was strict. Maybe I was structured. I think I'd rather use the word structured, not strict. I I am a structured person, I think. A bit of perfectionism here and there was there. But I would say that I'm intentional about a lot of things. And as a result, I kind of needed someone to meet me somewhere. He doesn't have to be perfect because we all have shortcomings. You know, we all have challenges and limitations. But I kind of needed someone to meet me somewhere because I have abandonment issues. I have abandonment issues because I was raised in a home where my dad was super inconsistent. All men around me, basically, since being a person that I am growing up, they've been inconsistent. I lost my mom when I was a little girl. Well, I wasn't that little. I was 13 when my mom died. I have abandonment issues. I'll always have abandonment issues. But how we get through it is by communicating, where I tell you, I need communication. I need to feel safe. I need you to be around a little bit more. Him communicate. I struggle with talking, communicating. However, this is what I can do. This is what I'm comfortable with. And sometimes I would need time out to regulate myself. I didn't know that about him until I had to learn it by myself because he didn't really clearly say what he needs, what kind of support he needed. But the only way for us to be able to get there is by communicating, I guess. Stating our needs and supporting each other through it. But there was so much triggering, there was so much projecting, there was so much mirroring, there was so many. We had a lot in common, but at the same time, we both came from different backgrounds, that the relationship suffocated. It wasn't long. We did it 3 weeks. 3 weeks. I promise you. I know the story is big, it's long. There's a lot that happened, but only 3 weeks we were together. And we knew each other a good 2 years. There was on and off for 2 years where we met, we spoke, and there was a push and pull. We would get along and then not get along. We'll get along and not get along. We'll get along and not get along. You know? So this is one of the reasons, also a lot of reasons why this relationship didn't work. There was just too much. And another thing I forgot to mention is that my family was against the relationship because he was a public figure. They didn't believe in trust public figure. They didn't trust public figures. They just didn't see me being a public figure. They didn't want me to be a public figure. They wanted me to just live a normal life like everyone else. So the minute I mentioned that I was dating someone in the public eye, yo, did I not get backlash? Did I not get gaslighting? Did I not get people telling me how unsafe this is? How they don't trust this person? Not because of they had so much to hide, but it just didn't feel safe. It didn't feel right for them. But at the end of the day, it's not about them, it's about me, isn't it? I never even wanted a public life. I preferred a simple and private life. But today, here I am. I'm an expression queen. I am in training of becoming the best version of myself by owning my truth, by healing publicly, and by learning my power and learning how to harness it. I'm a loud lover, guys. I am an expression queen, and I'm owning it. I do believe that there's people that need to hear some of these stories, and it will help someone heal because I've gone through it. I've gone through it a lot, and it's also proof that love alone is not enough to sustain a relationship. Most people get stuck at wanting to know if somebody loves them, but they are not able to hold them. They are not able to show up for them. Love alone is not enough. There needs to be consistency. There needs to be accountability, communication, intention, because love alone is not enough, really. So these are some of the reasons why this relationship didn't work out. It's a lot. I know. I've been processing this for 3 years. Imagine what I've gone through, right? I love you all. I'll see you on the next one. Love and light.